What up, what up, what up? This is your boy X coming to you from PressPlayOnYourDestiny.com. And I want to do a video today about corporate swag and how to build connections. And it's important to know how to build connections for a lot of different reasons. For whatever you want to do, you will have to have people that are, you have to know people for the most part, okay? You can't do anything all by yourself. It's just a known fact. Um, and it's just true in all honesty because every individual mind makes up the collective consciousness. So nobody knows everything, but collectively everybody knows everything. So um, as you know, I'm not sure if you guys seen my business series, but if you haven't, go back to my channel and I have a whole how to start your business series. And I'm really big into entrepreneurship and helping individuals start their business. I've been in the business field for quite some time as a business consultant, so I like to help people the best way I can when it comes to helping them get started in business and sustaining a successful business. So one of the things you need to do to sustain a successful business is you have to know how to. I call it corporate swag. Okay, most people call it presentation, presenting yourself, being the part. But everybody, if you've noticed, I'm not sure if a lot of you've ever been to like business mixers before or business events or even like upscale events. If you've noticed how some of the more successful, wealthy people, how they carry themselves, they have a certain swag about themselves. I mean, you when somebody walk in the room with money, you know it. You can tell. And conversely, when somebody walk in the room that don't have money, you can tell too. So when it comes to what I like to call corporate swag, it's all about presentation, okay? And presentation has a lot to do not just with what you look like, but what you sound like too. What kind of conversations you can carry. This is why I say it's extremely important to grow and develop in the knowledge that you have, so that your knowledge base can grow, so that you can relate and talk to a lot of different people. Because a lot of people that are wealthy and rich, you got to think about it. A lot of them are into positive thinking. A lot of them are into the universe. A lot of them are into different types of psychic sciences. A lot of that stuff is aided to their success. Um, so you have to learn how to be extremely versed in your conversation for one, okay? You have to be able, if a millionaire came up and talked to you, I mean, would you be able to talk on the same level with that millionaire? Even if you don't have $1 million, could you talk about stocks and bonds? Could you talk about CDs? Could you talk about, investments? Could you stay on the level? Could you stay on their level? Because just understand, when you are rich and wealthy, it's just being on another level. It doesn't change the fact that they're human. It doesn't change their emotions. It doesn't change their feelings. Rich people go through the same things you go through, the same. It's just another level, and I want y'all to catch that. It's not. They don't change. They don't morph into some, reptilian. No. When you become famous, when you become rich and wealthy, I'm speaking that into your life. When you become rich, famous, and wealthy, if you had a bad attitude when you was not rich, more than likely you'll have a bad attitude or you'll have the same temper. You might learn how to control it, but again, I'm saying this to tell you, you'll still be the same person. You won't you know, your who you are as a person, your true self won't change. The money will and the fame will, but you will still be the same person. So that's one of the keys when you are somebody who are wanting to become rich and famous. It's You have to understand that a lot of people think that when I get rich and famous, I'm gonna be this type of person. No, 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 no. The money made you that type of person, but in essence, you are the same person. So what most of us, what most of us see when it comes to money is they see the money. They don't see the them. And the thing is it's kind of sad, but when it comes to being rich, a lot of us thinks the money is honestly the image that we see. We don't see ourselves, we see ourselves attached to the money. We see a lifestyle. But a lot of people don't understand that it's the same you. You are the same person that has the $1 million. It's you. Your facial structure not gonna change. Your eyes not gonna shift to another side of your head. It's gonna be you. The same person that's watching this video, the same person that's struggling, the same person that don't know the answers today, the same person that just can't seem to get it together, the same person that's going through the cycle of just failure, that's the person that's going to become wealthy and famous. It's not another person. You're not going to be another person. Now, you will change your mental states of mind, and that's the difference between being rich and poor. It's a mindset, it's a state of mind. So, anyway, when I say corporate swag, you have to be able to present yourself a certain way. Like I told you, you have to be very well versed in your knowledge. That's why it's important to grow and develop. That aids to your swag. It aids to your corporate swag. And if you are sitting down with a group of millionaires and you're barely a 50 in there, which ain't a word, but I made it one, if you don't have anything but you aspire to be, make sure that you're very well versed in finances, in different situations in life, and different psychic sciences and laws of attraction and things like that. Because I want to say almost every millionaire has probably exposed themselves to some type of esoteric teaching about finances or about wealth. Okay, so just be very well versed, especially in things like finance, world trends, business trends, things like that. Keep yourself up to date, okay, on as much as possible so you can be very well versed in your conversation. Um, Another thing that aids to your corporate swag, of course, is your presentation. What you look like. I you don't want to. Now, I do believe this. I'm gonna step aside to say this. I do believe that if don't limit what you don't limit your don't stop your pursuit of wealth based on what you have or what you feel like you don't have. Use the best of what you got, and trust me, everything will play itself out for you to have what you need to have to get to where you want to be. Okay, I remember myself, I didn't have any nice clothes. And when I went to these business mixers, I felt like, my shoes were coming apart at the bottom, and, my shirt was dingy, my pants were high water. And, I still went to these meetings. But the thing is, I had confidence in myself. So the thing was, people was able to look past what I had on, and I was able to emit my confidence. Now, before I get into confidence, I want to stay on this topic of presenting yourself, presentation. Um, I'm not telling you that you need to buy $100 suit, to present yourself well. You don't need to be somebody that you are not to become wealthy, to become accepted in social circles. Remember, you need to be you. You need to be who you are. Because remember, everybody wants to be rich, but very few people make it there. You know what I mean? So you have to have something different about you. You have to have your own individual traits. You have to have what makes you different, or you won't stand out. So make sure that you're different. Um, Myself, I like to wear. I never used to be the type of person that likes suits, but when I lost a little weight, I found out that suits look real good on me. So I like to wear suits, and I like to have a clean cut. Let me tell you, especially if you are um like African American or some type of a minority, it's sad, but prejudice is still alive, and stereotyping is still alive too. So you have to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, especially for us of African descent, or with richer melanin. You really need to understand that you have a little more work to do when it comes to making yourself stand out. So make sure that you look presentable and you look nice. Don't put yourself in a position where you're not comfortable, but make sure that you know what you like to look like. But some of y'all who know what you like to look like know it's a hot mess sometimes. And if you think you need like a wardrobe change or something like that, find a good friend that's honest with you, okay? And your corporate swag, all swag is your individuality, how you do you. Can't nobody do you like you could do you. That's what makes your swag. You can't have somebody else's swag. You can only have your own swag. So when I say corporate swag, this is just swag to the next level. This is business swag. So again, you want to be presentable physically. You want to physically present yourself in a way that that looks clean and that looks inviting and presentable. Now, when it comes to your presentation, there are extremes that make some people wealthy. Now, some people they like to dress, nice, conservative, and clean. That's the look I like to go for. But then you have some people who like to dress completely out the box, but they become known for that. Their individuality becomes attached to that. And so some people know them to kind of be the ones that are really flashy and flamboyant. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you can pull it off, wonderful. I can't pull off wearing a fuchsia, shirt and a lime green tie. I'm just saying. I probably could, but it's just not my style. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, when it comes to your presentation, just understand what works for you. Also, when it comes to having corporate swag, not only do you have to be knowledgeable and present yourself in a decent manner, you also want to be able to speak, because a lot of people can be very knowledgeable, but our grammar sucks. When we talk to somebody, I mean, we just run on sentences. We don't pause. We don't actively listen. I mean, learn how to speak to another person, and I think a lot of us lack this skill because we may have a spouse or friends or family, and we talk to them a certain way. But when you're getting into the business arena, what you must understand is that the game is different. Business is a life in itself. It's a whole nother type of life. It's not like the regular life that you live. The rules are different, and how you have to present yourself is completely different. I'm going to use an example. Let's just say you can't stand somebody, okay, and you normally, if you can't stand somebody, you just cut them off. Now, in the business atmosphere, if you can't stand somebody, a wise, let's just say you're a manager, and let's just say you're a manager and you have a employee that you just cannot stand for some reason. You cannot stand them, you can't get along with them, but their productivity is high and they are one of the most valuable um assets that you have in the company. You don't want to just cut them off. You're not like that. You know what I mean? You want to try to remedy the situation first, because you got to remember your productivity equals money. So you don't want to drop your top earners because you got a personal vendetta against them. See what I mean? So the laws of business and the laws of regular life are completely different, okay? So I need you to understand that I want you to work on your grammar and your presentation, okay? And I have to do a little bit better about this in my videos. This is how, set up straight. When you're talking to somebody, this is how you want to talk. You want to sit up, you want to talk, you want to have your shoulders back, and you want to talk with confidence. You don't want to seem like you're defensive, but you do want to seem like you're ready for whatever. This is considered corporate swag. Now, the one thing that ties corporate swag all together is confidence. You need confidence. The thing is, you don't want to talk to somebody that doesn't is not confident in themselves. They're not confident in their abilities. Why would I want to build a connection with you? You couldn't help me. I'm going to tell you the best way to build confidence in a business setting. Um, when you talk about when you talk about certain things to people, make sure that you know what you're talking about. Okay, that way, be ready to answer questions. Don't superficially know a subject because somebody else might know that subject even deeper than you, and they're going to ask you questions. And the thing you don't want is for somebody to call your bluff and you can't answer a question. But when you know that you know a certain subject, it doesn't matter. You can speak bold, and people can see that. Okay, people can see the boldness that comes out of your mouth. I'm not saying be arrogant or cocky by any means, but what I'm saying is know your subject matter when you're talking about it. It emits confidence. One of the other big things about confidence is this: I tell you guys all the time that you come from the divine source. You come from the consciousness of the all. You come from the consciousness of God. So the thing is, you have all of the answers within you. So that's one thing that can make you stand up straight with confidence, that you have all the answers. You just have to be able to search deep enough within you to get the answers and to pull them out. So when you go somewhere, you can be confident that you're connected to the all, you're connected to the divine source. So any information that somebody else knows, you know it because it's in a collective consciousness. See? So that is something that can make that's probably one of the biggest things that can help you emit your confidence is to completely ground yourself in the fact that you are a part of a higher self that governs not just you, but the person you're talking to, the situation and the circumstance around that. You did the all orchestrated you and that person connecting, it orchestrated the conversation, everything. So when you have this understanding about this force that controls every situation, you could now speak certain situations. You can demand something out of a situation or a conversation without even saying anything. Before you even walk to somebody, you can demand what you want from that person before you get there. And so when in doing that, you could say, "Well, I'm gonna walk up to this person, and I'm gonna build a connection with them to help me take me to the next level of where I need to go." And if that is your intention, then that's what you'll get. And so that's what it's about: having confidence, and believing in yourself, believing in your intuitive abilities that you have. And remember that it's not you, it's not your agenda, it's the all's agenda that's what's inside of you. So remember your steps to gaining corporate swag: presentation, what you physically look like; growing and developing in knowledge; understanding how to communicate with other people back and forth; and having confidence in yourself. All of that has to do with gaining corporate swag. Now, the next thing is building connections. It's important to build connections because you're gonna always need people who are and at different levels or have different levels of understanding. I believe that everybody is some form of a library. We all form this collective library of consciousness. And if you like to go to the library or you are familiar with the structure of a library, they have books, okay, and they're categorized. You might have science, math, reading, English, Spanish. You may have science fiction. You may have nonfiction, fiction. You'll have this variety and this array of books, and you could go to this particular part of the library, and you could take a book and you could read it, and you can gain the knowledge and put the book back. So when it comes to building connections, connections work very similar in this aspect. Every connection that you make has something different that they can offer to you. Now, a lot of us have this superficial meaning of, okay, when we meet somebody, what can you do for me? No, 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 no. Whoa. Everybody does something for everybody. Let's catch that. So everybody that you meet have a reason. They have a rhyme, whether it's good or bad. Everything aids in the advancement of your life and fulfilling your will. Everything aids in everybody that you run into. Even if you run into a homeless person on the streets and that interaction is nothing more than you just visually seeing them, that sparked something in you. It probably told you, I don't want to be like that. I need to get my situation together. Every situation has its meaning. So every connection will have some type of meaning, but it's up to you to figure out what the meaning of the connection is. So how you build connections? It's all about your corporate swag. When you're able to emit that confidence and that knowledge, and you're able to go to someone with intentions, if you're able to, and they teach you stuff like this in business mixers. You know, you want to be able to capture somebody's attention. You don't want to talk about yourself. Let me tell y'all something. Let me break something down to y'all real quick. The best way to become known or credible in your field is to see what you can offer other people. Don't, when you meet somebody and you're trying to build a connection, don't talk about yourself the whole time, okay? That you will come into the picture a little later. Talk about them, engage them. People feel good when they're talking about themselves. It's okay. You're building a connection for you, and only you know the reason you want this connection. Okay, so in this instance, what you need to do is let them talk. Y'all are gonna get time when you follow up to get some coffee, and you can talk all about yourself then. But in the beginning, initially, let them talk. The most resourceful people are the people that say, "What can I do for you?" When you have that mentality, when you first meet somebody, people like that. They're like, "Oh man, this is a man of service. This is a woman of service." You know what I mean? And then at that point, the connection starts to build value. See what I mean? So myself, okay, I was at a parade yesterday. I network. That's just my thing. I love to network. I love to meet new people because you never know what person will be able to put you in the right path and completely open the doors to everything that you want to do. So you should network all the time wherever you go. And when I say network, not business networking, like, okay, well, I do this, buy my product, or I'm a consultant. You need to, no, 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 no. Don't hound people like that. Build a connection with the person first, and then talk about your business. You might not get to talk about your business in you guys' first interaction. But if you build the connection and they have some interest in you, then you can tell them about what you do. Cool? So, what I this is my personal approach to building connections. Okay, so I was at this event yesterday, and a lot of different people, like city council people, people running for city council, a lot of like city politicians, a lot of like really known business people in the city were at this event. So when some of them got up on a podium to speak, because it was a large event, when they got off the podium, I stood kind of close to the podium, okay? And I always keep business cards. Keep business cards with you all the time. You can go on Vistaprint and pay for shipping. Your tools. You have to have business cards, okay? You must. Business cards are a must, okay? When it comes to building connections, the worst thing you want to do is get to somebody and not have a means of being able to connect. And it's more professional to carry a business card. Okay, they can see that you take your business serious. They take what you do serious when you can invest in what you do. You know what I mean? But I also, in addition to carrying my business cards, I also had a pen and paper. Okay, because some people, let's just say like myself, I didn't bring my cell phone. I didn't bring it on purpose, but I didn't bring my cell phone. But some people didn't have business cards, so they didn't have any more on them. So I had a piece of paper that I could write my information down and give it to them. You know what I mean? Or their information, I could, because I didn't have my cell phone, so I had to write a lot of their. If they didn't have business cards or flyers, I had to write their information down on my notepad. So I had a notepad full of numbers from different people. Okay, and when you're building a connection, when you first meet somebody, um, it the connection will be deeper if you can relate yourself to what they do. Don't tell somebody, don't try to build a connection with somebody that sells oranges, and try to build a connection with them for them to promote your newest perfume line. You know what I mean? No, you want to try to get into you want to try to group your connections. Like I said, it's like a library. Group your connections. You may have several ideas, several business ventures that you're into, like myself. So whenever I meet somebody, I put them into a category. For instance, I want to do a start a community drum line. The parade had some drum lines that participated. So when I approached them, I said, "Well, hey, I'm a drummer. I'm interested in starting a community drumline, or possibly working with you guys to see what kind of connections we could make or whatever." This is how I built my drumline connections. But also, I want to run for city council. So I had a guy that was in city council who was running for re-election. So what I told him was, "Hey, I'm interested in running for city council when I get a little more familiar with the city. I just wanted to know, is there any things that I could kind of do, or you could kind of show me, what I would need to do in order to run for city council in the next couple of years?" "Yeah, sure." He wrote down his information, told me to call him. That's because I am interested in what they are interested in. You don't want to try to bother yourself trying to be a part of things that are, trying to make connections that aren't actually relevant to what you want to do, because you'll just find out that you won't contact them because you don't have any passion for it. You don't really care for it. So let's not make meaningless connections. Okay, it's not, well, no connection is meaningless, but make connections that's going to actually propel you and move you forward, and only you know why you want to make a connection. Okay. um Probably one of the next and last things when it comes to connections, again, like having corporate swag, is confidence. Confidence in yourself, confidence in your abilities. Confidence emits off of you. Remember, we have auras. We all have auras. And the more powerful your aura is, people can feel that. People can feel your energy. Have you ever met somebody and it just seemed like they were so pumped and so hyped and so positive? It's like you could just, oh man, just sit and take their energy all day. You know what I mean? That is what you want to emit. Now, you don't want to be overzealous when you're, "Oh, yeah, hi, how you doing?" Hey, you don't want to be all of that. Have your own swag. And when you have your own swag, all that means is you need to understand who you are. That's one of the deepest things about corporate swag and building connections and relationships. Understand who you are as a person, and what can you offer. Because everybody that builds connections, they probably heard the same story 100 times. But what would make you stand out? What would make them want to stay in contact with you and build a deeper, more meaningful relationship? Um, so that's my time on this video. There's a trillion more steps that you can use, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. But if you can apply these things and you can understand them within your soul, then they can work for you. They really can. These are things that I do, and things that have made helped me to become um the successful business model that I am. I haven't made my first million yet, but I will soon. But what I can tell you is based on being in different business atmospheres, being a part of different chambers of commerce, being a part of executive teams. I've got to gain a vast knowledge of business and how to present yourself to various different people like CEOs, mayors, senators, politicians, and even celebrities. So it's important that you maintain a certain stature and a certain poise about yourself when you're trying to build connections and show your individuality in the business field. Well, until next time, you guys, make sure you press play to your destiny. Say yes to your unfolding future. I love you guys. Make sure you subscribe into the channel. I appreciate all the love that I'm getting, you guys. Gonna roll out with more videos. And as long as you guys are watching, I'm putting out videos. So until next time, peace.